What if the real mastermind behind South Africa's liberation wasn't the man on the posters, but the one moving the pieces in silence? What if the fire that lit Mandela's revolution was sparked by a humble teacher, a man whose name history nearly forgot? This is the untold story of Govan Mbeki, the strategist, the silent fire, the storm behind the scenes. Born in 1910 in the rural town of Nkomakhwe in the Eastern Cape, Govan Mbeki grew up watching colonial power shape the lives of black South Africans. But he was bright, determined, a mind that burned with questions. He earned a degree from the prestigious Fort Hare University, walking the same campus paths as future freedom fighters like Nelson Mandela, Oliver Tambo, and Robert Sobukwe. A future in teaching, publishing, and family life lay before him. He could have chosen safety, but Govan chose struggle. He picked up a pen and turned it into a weapon, writing fiery articles in left-wing newspapers, distributing banned pamphlets under cover of night, organizing strikes and union meetings among the black working class. The apartheid regime noticed. Soon the raids began. His writings were seized, his phone lines tapped, his reputation monitored. But Govan didn't step back. He stepped deeper, into secret meetings with the African National Congress and the South African Communist Party. Together they built something new, a militant wing to fight when words were no longer enough. It was called Umkhonto we Sizwe, Spear of the Nation. While others shouted into microphones, Govan whispered strategies. He wasn't interested in the spotlight. He was the chess master behind the scenes. And while Mandela burned with the urgency of youth, Govan spoke of timing. He believed in revolution, yes, but with discipline, with endurance, with vision. He mentored young activists, ran political education workshops, mapped long-term plans while others reacted to short-term rage. But even a movement built in shadows can be exposed. One betrayal was all it took. Comrade flipped. Govan, Mandela, and others were captured, accused of sabotage and plotting to overthrow the state. What followed was the Rivonia Trial, a globally watched spectacle where apartheid tried to destroy the minds that challenged it. But Govan didn't beg for mercy. He stood in court with steel in his eyes, ready for the consequences. He was sentenced to life in prison, and sent to Robben Island, the notorious prison off the coast of Cape Town. 24 years. But prison didn't break Govan. It became his university. He fought for the right to read. He led economic debates. He taught Marxist theory and critical thinking to younger inmates, many of whom would go on to shape South Africa's post-apartheid future. Even in isolation, he found ways to mentor his son, Thabo Mbeki, through letters filled with ideology, strategy, and fatherly wisdom. The outside world forgot him. But inside those walls, he was building minds. In 1987, after nearly a quarter century, Govan was released. No cameras, no cheering crowds, no parades. Mandela would return to international stardom. But Govan came home to a quieter South Africa. Too radical for some, too patient for others. He didn't fit the new mold. And still, he worked. He declined high office, refused to chase recognition. Instead, he chose books, ideas, mentorship. He walked the talk even when the crowd moved on. When Govan Mbeki died in 2001, South Africa lost one of its sharpest minds. But the world barely paused. There were no giant headlines, no state tributes echoing his true influence. But his fingerprints were everywhere. In the ANC's strategic backbone, in Thabo Mbeki's presidency, in every leader who chose preparation over performance. His revolution wasn't televised, but it was felt. Because Govan Mbeki taught us something timeless. Asterisk resistance isn't only protest. It's preparation. Asterisk. Asterisk real power doesn't always wear a crown. Sometimes it wears silence. Asterisk. Asterisk it doesn't shout. Thinks. It builds. It lasts. Asterisk. So if you're waiting for history to hand you a microphone, maybe you're holding the wrong tool. Right? Plan. Mentor. Build. Because your role in history doesn't have to be loud. Make it intentional. Make it strategic. Make it last. Stay thoughtful. Stay free. If you find this video interesting, Please do well to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more true historical documentaries.